2 GPS data points revealed a killer in uniform. A paramedic's ambulance tracked by satellite betrayed his carefully constructed lie. Darius Sullivan had sworn an oath to save lives, but on that winter night in Chicago, he used his medical expertise to end one of his wife's. The potent fentanyl that flowed through Alicia Thompson's veins wasn't self-administered. It was delivered by the steady hands of the man who once promised to love and protect her. In the sterile light of the morgue, Alicia's body told a story that contradicted her husband's tearful account. She had been sober for years, her family insisted. But Sullivan had crafted a different narrative, one of relapse and tragedy. What he couldn't erase were the digital breadcrumbs left by his ambulance, silently recording his unauthorized detour during his shift. 22 minutes. That's how long it took to administer a death sentence disguised as a tragic accident. Welcome to True Crime Inquiry, where we examine the darkest intersections of trust and betrayal. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a case that shook the medical community to its core. For our new viewers, this channel explores the psychological dimensions behind heinous crimes, and today's episode is no exception. To our loyal subscribers, thank you for returning your support, drives our commitment to these complex investigations. This documentary will take you through the chilling case of Darius Sullivan, a paramedic who allegedly used his medical knowledge not to heal, but to harm the person closest to him. As we navigate this disturbing story, remember that behind every crime statistic was a real person, in this case, Alicia Thompson, whose life was cut tragically short by someone she should have been able to trust above all others. Alicia Thompson's laughter could fill a room. Friends described her as magnetic, a 34-year-old marketing executive with a wide smile and ambitious plans. Her Instagram feed displayed carefully curated moments, weekend hikes, volunteer work at animal shelters, and intimate dinners with her husband, Darius Sullivan. To the outside world, they embodied relationship goals. Darius was Chicago's definition of a hometown hero. A decorated paramedic with 12 years of service, his colleagues at Mercy Hospital praised his steady hands during emergencies. Darius could intubate a patient in a moving ambulance during a thunderstorm. His service record included 2 commendations for saving children from cardiac arrest. Local news had even featured him in a segment about first responders during the pandemic. Their marriage in 2018 seemed predestined. They met when Alicia's father suffered a heart attack, and Darius was part of the responding team. "He saved my dad's life," Alicia told her maid of honor. "How could I not fall for him?" The wedding photos showed them gazing at each other under cherry blossoms in Grant Park, surrounded by uniformed colleagues and Alicia's extensive family. But perfection often hides complexity. What few people knew was that Alicia had battled addiction in her early 20s. After a car accident at 22, she became dependent on prescribed painkillers. She fought her way back. It was the hardest thing she ever did, but she'd been clean for 8 years. 8 years. Darius had positioned himself as Alicia's rock during recovery, her medical guardian, who understood the biochemistry of addiction better than most. He monitored her medications. He kept track of everything she took, down to the milligram. Their apartment in Lincoln Park contained subtle clues about their relationship dynamic. Alicia's journals, recovered after her death, revealed increasing isolation. "Darius says my friends don't understand our relationship," she wrote 6 months before her death. "He thinks I should distance myself from negative influences." Those negative influences included her older sister and childhood friends who had begun to question Darius's controlling behavior. Colleagues at Mercy Hospital noticed subtle changes in Darius's demeanor throughout 2022. His once impeccable attendance record showed unexplained absences. The hospital pharmacist reported a discrepancy in the controlled substances log, but attributed it to clerical error. No one connected these dots until it was too late. He was always checking his phone, always tense. Many of his colleagues thought maybe he was dealing with something personal, but no one wanted to pry. That something personal was a marriage unraveling behind closed doors. Neighbors reported hearing arguments through the thin walls of their condo. The building's doorman witnessed Alicia leaving late one night with a packed suitcase, only to return the following morning. Most telling was Darius's financial activity. 3 months before Alicia's death, he increased her life insurance policy to $500,000, listing himself as the sole beneficiary. He also began researching property in Costa Rica, browsing real estate listings on his work computer while on breaks. Looking back, they all missed the signs. He wasn't her savior. He was studying her vulnerability. What we saw as devotion was actually something much darker. It was surveillance. What no one realized was that Darius Sullivan wasn't just Alicia's husband. He was becoming her executioner, meticulously planning a murder that would leverage both his medical knowledge and her past struggles. The 17th of January, 2023. The temperature in Chicago had plummeted to -12 degrees. Ice crystals formed intricate patterns on windows throughout the city. Inside Alicia and Darius's condo, the thermostat read 72 degrees, but Alicia's body had already begun to cool. Darius was working the night shift when he reportedly received a disturbing text from Alicia at 10:43 p.m. telling him about how she feels unwell. He claimed he tried calling her multiple times without answer. According to his initial statement, he continued his shift, concerned but not alarmed. At 7:15 a.m., after completing his shift, Darius said he returned home to find Alicia unresponsive on their bedroom floor. The official time of death would later be estimated between 11 p.m. and 2 hours, before he allegedly discovered her body. Detective Marcus Rivera arrived at the scene by 8:30 a.m. What he found appeared straightforward. A woman with no visible trauma, a small amount of vomit near her mouth, and dilated pupils. My first thought was overdose, Rivera later testified, but something about the scene felt staged. The medical examiner, Dr. Priya Sharma, noted unusual needle marks on Alicia's inner thigh, an uncommon location for self-injection. Most users inject where they can easily see. The inner thigh suggests either medical knowledge or someone else administered the drug. When Dr. Sharma ordered a toxicology screen, the results were shocking. Alicia's blood contained 14 nanograms per milliliter of fentanyl, nearly 3 times the lethal dose. This concentration, Dr. Sharma stated, would have incapacitated her almost instantly. Darius appeared devastated at the scene. He told detectives that Alicia must have relapsed, perhaps triggered by work stress or seasonal depression. She was doing so well, he sobbed. I should have seen the signs. But Alicia's family erupted in disbelief. Absolutely impossible. Her sister Jenna insisted when contacted. Alicia was celebrating 8 years sober next month. She was planning a sobriety retreat in Arizona. She wouldn't throw that away. Her recovery sponsor, Miguel Santos, echoed this sentiment. Alicia attended a group meeting just 2 days before her death. She was clear-eyed, focused, talking about her future. There were zero indications of struggle or relapse. Detectives soon discovered another inconsistency. Alicia's phone contained no outgoing text to Darius at 10:43 p.m. When confronted, Darius claimed he must have confused the time or deleted it accidentally. Detective Rivera ordered a deeper investigation into Alicia's final days. Her credit card showed no suspicious purchases. Her browser history revealed research on anniversary gifts and a cooking class she had booked for Darius's birthday. Nothing indicated drug-seeking behavior. The turning point came when Alicia's best friend, Caroline Wu, provided police with a voicemail Alicia had left her just hours before her death. Hey Care, I'm thinking of surprising Darius with tickets to see his favorite band next month. Don't tell him. Oh, and I'm making that pasta recipe you sent. Call me back when you can. Caroline's voice cracked as she played the message for detectives. Does that sound like someone about to relapse? She was making dinner, planning surprises. Something is very wrong here. As investigators dug deeper, inconsistencies in Darius's account multiplied. He claimed to have worked his entire shift without breaks. Yet hospital staff recalled him taking his dinner break at unusual hours. The timeline wasn't adding up. Detective Rivera requested access to Darius's work records, including the ambulance logs. What those records would reveal would transform a suspicious death into something far more sinister. Modern ambulances are essentially rolling data centers. Every movement, every turn, every stop is meticulously tracked through GPS systems primarily for optimizing response times and ensuring appropriate coverage of medical districts. Chicago's Mercy Hospital had upgraded their fleet in 2022 with state-of-the-art tracking technology that logged vehicle locations every 30 seconds. This seemingly routine technological enhancement would become the thread that unraveled Darius Sullivan's carefully constructed narrative. Detective Rivera's request for ambulance logs initially faced bureaucratic resistance. Medical privacy concerns. The hospital administration cited, but when presented with a court order, they reluctantly released Ambulance Unit 47's complete tracking data for the 16th of January -17. The data told a story that contradicted everything Darius had claimed. Between 11:42 p.m. and 12:04 a.m. during his supposed uninterrupted shift, Unit 47 had deviated from its assigned route. The ambulance had traveled to Lincoln Park and remained stationary for precisely 22 minutes outside the Sullivan-Thompson residence. The GPS data showed the ambulance had made an unauthorized stop exactly when the medical examiner estimated Alicia would have been injected with the lethal dose. Even more damning, the ambulance returned to this location briefly at 3:17 a.m. for 4 minutes, suggesting a return visit to confirm death or remove evidence. The Daily Mail obtained this GPS data through a leaked police report and published it alongside satellite imagery of the route. The visual representation was damning a clear digital trail leading directly to the crime scene. The article went viral, with infographics showing the ambulance's path superimposed against the timeline of Alicia's final hours. When confronted with the GPS evidence, Darius's story crumbled further. He claimed mechanical issues had forced him to stop near home, but maintenance records showed no reported problems with Unit 47. His partner that night, EMT Tanya Whitfield, had been on break during those critical 22 minutes. "He told me to take an extra 50, she testified. "Said he'd handle any calls. It was unusual, but I didn't think much of it then." The investigation revealed that Darius had disabled the ambulance's dashboard camera during this time-standard protocol, allowed this only during patient privacy situation. The system recorded his badge number, authorizing the camera shutdown at 11:40 p.m., 2 minutes before arriving at his residence. Technical experts from the surveillance company testified that tampering with the GPS itself would have triggered immediate alerts. He could turn off the camera, but not the location tracking, explained systems engineer Marcus Wong. The satellite positioning system operates independently from the vehicle's other systems. Phone records delivered another crucial piece of evidence. Despite claiming to have called Alicia repeatedly that night, cell tower data showed Darius's phone traveling with the ambulance. No calls were placed to Alicia's number until 7:05 a.m. after her estimated time of death. Most chilling was security footage from a neighboring building's doorbell camera. At 11:45 p.m., it captured a partial image of someone matching Darius's build entering the residence with what appeared to be a medical kit. The grainy nighttime footage couldn't definitively identify him, but when coupled with the GPS data, it painted a devastating picture. Technology doesn't lie. Prosecutor Samantha Jeffries would later tell journalists. 22 minutes. That's how long Sullivan took to administer death to his wife, thinking his uniform would shield him from suspicion. But in the end, the very systems designed to track life-saving efforts exposed his murderous detour. The investigation shifted from establishing Darius's presence at the crime scene to determining exactly how he executed his plan. Forensic toxicologists focused on the lethal fentanyl dose that had stopped Alicia's heart. This powerful synthetic opioid, 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine, was strictly controlled but accessible to paramedics for severe pain management in emergency situations. Mercy Hospital's medication logs revealed a critical discrepancy. During Darius's shift on the 16th of January, Unit 47 had signed out 2,100 microgram fentanyl doses for a cardiac patient. Records showed both doses had been administered, but when investigators interviewed the patient, he remembered receiving only one injection. The second dose had vanished. Fentanyl, in medical settings, is tracked down to the microgram. Each vial has a unique tracking number and requires double verification for dispensing and disposal. Sullivan knew this system intimately and exactly how to circumvent it. Investigators discovered that Sullivan had developed a pattern of documenting 2 fentanyl doses when only administering one, creating a small but steady supply of unaccounted-for medication. Over 6 months, approximately 9 doses had disappeared from ambulances during his shifts, never enough at once to trigger automatic audits. The forensic breakthrough came when chemists analyzed the fentanyl in Alicia's system. Medical-grade fentanyl contains specific stabilizing compounds not found in illicit street versions. The analysis confirmed the fentanyl that killed Alicia exactly matched the hospital's pharmaceutical supply, down to its molecular markers and concentration. Even more damning was the discovery of a discarded syringe found behind their building's trash compactor. Despite Darius's careful cleanup, this crucial piece of evidence had slipped through. The syringe contained microscopic traces of fentanyl and Alicia's DNA on the needle. More significantly, the barrel held Darius's fingerprint beneath a partial smudge, suggesting he had handled it while wearing gloves that momentarily slipped. He injected her in the inner thigh deliberately. This location would be less noticeable during a routine examination and could be mistaken for self-administration if investigators weren't thorough. The injection technique showed medical precision, hitting the femoral vein with expert accuracy. Searches of the couple's computer revealed that Darius had researched undetectable poisons and fentanyl overdose symptoms in private browsing sessions over 3 months. Most chilling was his search just 2 weeks before Alicia's death. How long does fentanyl stay detectable in autopsy? When police executed a second search warrant on their condo, they discovered an empty fentanyl vial hidden inside a hollowed-out medical textbook. Lab tests matched its batch number to vials dispensed during Darius's the 16th of January shift. The psychological profile developed by investigators painted a disturbing picture of premeditation. This wasn't a crime of passion. Sullivan's methodical planning, creating a supply of untraceable narcotics, researching detection windows, selecting the precise injection site, demonstrates calculated intent developed over months. During questioning, Darius's initially confident demeanor deteriorated when confronted with the mounting forensic evidence. "How could you possibly think I'd hurt Alicia?" he had insisted during early interviews. But when Detective Rivera placed the evidence bag containing the recovered syringe on the table between them, Darius fell silent, then requested an attorney. As the prosecutor would later tell the grand jury, Sullivan didn't just commit murder, he weaponized his medical expertise to execute it. The very knowledge he had sworn to use for healing became his instrument of death. The arrest of Darius Sullivan on the 4th of March, 2023, sent shockwaves through Chicago's medical community. As officers led the paramedic, still wearing his uniform from his morning shift, through the emergency room where he once saved lives, his colleagues watched in stunned silence. The man who had taken an oath to heal had allegedly become a calculated killer. The investigation into Sullivan's finances revealed the probable motive. 6 months before Alicia's death, the couple's financial situation had deteriorated significantly. Credit card statements showed $87,000 in debt across multiple accounts. Their mortgage was underwater after a failed home renovation project. Most tellingly, Darius had secretly taken a $45,000 personal loan from a high-interest lender, using falsified income statements. He was drowning financially. But 3 months before Alicia's death, he increased her life insurance from $100,000 to $500,000. The policy included a suicide exclusion clause, but would pay for accidental death, including accidental overdose. Within days of Alicia's death, before her body was even released for funeral arrangements, Sullivan had contacted the insurance company to initiate the claim. The customer service representative noted his unusual insistence on expediting the process. He called daily, asking about faster payment options, even offering to accept a slightly reduced amount for immediate processing. Email records recovered from Sullivan's devices revealed his extensive research into countries with limited extradition agreements with the United States. His browser history included searches for living costs Costa Rica and cash-only property purchases Central America. The betrayal extended beyond Alicia. Sullivan's fellow paramedics described feeling violated professionally. "We carry fentanyl to ease suffering. To think he used our medicines, our ambulance, our protocols to commit murder, it makes me question everything about the 12 years I worked alongside him." The public reaction was equally intense. Protesters gathered outside Mercy Hospital, demanding stricter controls on controlled substances. The hospital eventually implemented a new system requiring dual authentication and random drug audits for all emergency vehicles. 3 other major Chicago hospitals followed suit within months. For Alicia's family, the revelations brought both clarity and fresh anguish. "I used to think she was lucky to have married someone who understood healthcare," her sister Jenna told the court during a pre-trial hearing. "Now, I realize he selected her because of her history, because he thought her past struggles would make her death less suspicious." Perhaps most disturbing was the testimony from Sullivan's former medical school roommate, who recalled a conversation from nearly 15 years earlier. "We were discussing challenging cases, and Darius mentioned how easy it would be for medical professionals to commit the perfect crime. He said, 'We know exactly how the body works and exactly how to stop it.' I thought it was just morbid student talk. I never imagined he was rehearsing a philosophy he'd one day put into practice." As Sullivan awaits trial in Cook County Jail, held without bail, his case has become a somber cautionary tale in medical ethics courses nationwide. His alleged crimes represent the darkest perversion of medical knowledge expertise meant for healing deliberately weaponized to harm. The uniform, the ambulance, the medical expertises weren't just tools of Darius Sullivan's profession. They became the perfect disguise for a calculated killer who betrayed not just his wife's trust, but the trust of an entire community. Thank you for joining us for this examination of how ambition twisted into violence. If you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing to True Crime Inquiry for more in-depth examinations of the human psyche at its darkest. Your comments help us understand which cases resonate with you, and every like extends our reach. Until next time, remember that behind every perfect facade may lie imperfect truth.